Welcome to this edition of McAllen Update. I'm Roy Cantu.
And I'm Roxanne Lerma, and today we find ourselves at the Northwest McAllen Police Training Center. Located on 29th and Oxford Avenue, the multi-use 11,000 square foot facility is designed to meet a variety of our community's needs. A big portion of the building serves as the police department's training facility. Officers come out here and run through emergency scenarios, training drills, and simulations. The center also has a multi-purpose meeting room for the public, as well as conference rooms, offices, and work areas for our McAllen police officers. Now, this training center is currently undergoing an expansion. For much more on that, let's turn it over to our Roy Cantu.
We're here at the Northwest Police Training Center right now to get an update on the construction that's happening here in the north part of McAllen. And with me right now is McAllen Police Chief Victor Rodriguez, who's been pretty busy lately in the news, but he's got a big project here.
Yes, we've got a couple of projects, but we're talking about this one here at the Northwest facility. We're in the midst of construction, as you know. We're adding another, we call this a training lab, and it's designed specifically for what we call a simulator. Simulator is an interactive system, a video system for weapons use, weapons firing, weapons training. And the lab that we are now constructing, we call it a lab, is designed specifically for the use of that simulator. At the end of the day, it's another classroom that it will have multi-use, but the primary design is for the weapons simulator.
How big is your police force? And this will sort of add one of your divisions more opportunity to do more training, right?
Well, yes, we acquired the system simulator about a year or so back, and since that time we have worked towards basically controlling it, because you can design these things to do whatever you want them to do. So we've controlled the design of them. We are going to basically house it here as opposed to, let's say, a shooting range, so that we have further controls in it. So our force is 281 officers strong. We have 140 civilian positions on top of that, more or less. So we've got about 430 or so total personnel at the department. You know, it is the largest department in the city of McAllen, and we're lucky to have the resources to be able to provide for them class facilities like the ones we're building right now.
And I know when you constructed because you were in charge of the first phase of the project, which is the training center itself here at the Northwest side. You put it on the north side of McAllen to sort of make it like a community center.
Absolutely, yeah. No, the outlay of the capital and the outlay of the infrastructure for the department, you know, has in mind the entire region of the city of McAllen. In other words, this is what we call a Northwest, because at the end of the day, this can serve as a police facility for the future. So we're designing facilities now that I think will keep us and carry us for about 25 to 30 more years.
And you've also sort of had some trainings with other police departments in the area who've used this facility.
Absolutely. This place is busy. As you can tell, we got massive parking here, and it's with that in mind. We've got people here all the time from various state agencies, local agencies from other states that come here. So we maximize the training that comes to our area by providing a facility and thereby making that accessible to our personnel. So it is the only facility of its kind. It's getting ready to really take a jump forward with this particular lab. There's as far as we know, there's not another one like it built, especially for the simulator. So we hope to bring you out here as soon as it's done and actually put you through the ropes of what it is. It really is a great addition for us, and as you can tell, we're also refencing the project out here. We're also adding a half-mile track, three-quarter-mile track here for the personnel of the department. We call it a track. It's a course. It's a running course. We've designed it in a manner that we can do a couple of these and do a mile and a half. We do a lot of health fitness training with our personnel. We try to do some of it now at our current site over at the trainings at the shooting range. However, we don't have one designed for it. This is designed for it. It's a full-length track with multi-surface. In other words, we have some part of it will be asphalt, some of it will be caliche, some of it will be granite, crushed granite, some of it will be just dirt. So it's designed to basically have the kinds of surfaces that we will most likely encounter in our daily work. It's got multi-elevations, so in other words, some's got some ups and downs along the pathway, and it's got exercise stations along the pathway. So all of these things are part of this project, and we know one thing to mention as we go forward also is that this entire project is paid for with or money seized from the proceeds of drugs. In other words, these are forfeited assets that we put to work for the city of McAllen.
Chief, when do you expect this project to be finished?
We're looking at the end of April for this part of it to be done, and we're really excited about getting it finished.
And folks, you can count on us to keep you informed and give you the latest update with the Northwest Police Training Center and its construction. And you're going to see the final outcome back in April. For the City of McAllen, I'm Roy Cantu.
Thanks, Roy. Now, just a reminder to our residents, there are a number of ways to make your water payments, but avoid those delays. For more on that, let's hear from Lupita Palacios.
Hi, I'm Lupita Palacios. I'm an assistant manager here with McAllen Public Utility, and today we wanted to let you know about our new automated payment system. We know that sometimes our office is very busy and we have very long lines at our drive-through windows as well as inside of our lobby. So we want you to know that you do have an option to pay using our automated system. The thing that's very good about this system is that you can pay at any time of the day. So if you get home late from work, you can use it at that time. It's also available on weekends. You don't have to rush over here on Monday morning to try to avoid being disconnected. You would dial 681-1600. You will choose 1 for English or 2 for Spanish, and then you will be asked to choose option 3, which is for the IVR system. You will need to have your bill ready since the system will ask you to enter your customer account number. The operator will also let you know the balance that you have at the time, and you will select the amount that you would like to pay. We accept all forms of payment such as Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover. You're also allowed to use an e-check. Now there is a convenience fee of $2.75, but that's the same as if you were paying with us online or through telephone with a live operator. Once your transaction is complete, the operator will give you a confirmation number which serves as your receipt. So we also wanted to let you know, to avoid lines or to avoid paying late, you can use this system, which is our IVR system, or you can also register for automatic bank draft, which is free of charge, and you will be drafted on time each month. Remember, the good part of this system is that you can pay at any time of the day during weekends, and it is very user-friendly. You can also call us at 681-1600 if you need help utilizing the system or if you have any questions about our other payment methods.
Thanks, Lupita, for that great information. Our Code Enforcement Department also has some very important reminders for you. They're on the lookout for weedy lots in our city. City health workers are routinely inspecting properties in McAllen. There have been situations where residents move or own a lot next door and fail to provide upkeep for the property. Just so you know, if the grass or vegetation grows more than 15 inches in height, or if the area is identified as a harboring spot for mosquitoes or vermin, action can be taken.
One of the city codes requires that if you own a property in McAllen, you have to maintain the property below inches of height, the grass, inches of height, and clean as well. And that's something that we want to stress to our citizens. We want you to own property in McAllen, but at the same time, maintain it clean and healthy.
If you are found to be in violation of the Weedy Lot ordinance, you will be notified and you'll have 10 days to fix the problem. A week after that, the city will cut the grass and residents will receive an invoice for the work performed. If you have any questions or you have a concern about a weedy lot, you can call the City Health Department at 681-1900. Now, as part of the expansion here at the Northwest McAllen Police Training Center, they're actually installing these trails so that our police cadets get in a little physical training. In other news, regionalization took center stage at a press conference recently in Mission. Our mayor and other Upper Valley city leaders met with Congressman Henry Cuellar. Roy Cantu has that story.
We're here at the Alcel Lewis International Bridge with the mayor right now after the big announcement from Congressman Henry Cuellar. What does this mean to McAllen?
Well, it's two things. You know, number one is additional CBP, Customs, and Border Protection people at all the bridges, but hopefully we'll get our share of those, and we're meeting with the new chairman of the Border Protection this afternoon, Secretary of Border Protection, and talk about that, the allotments we get here. So more Border Protection, Customs people means more trade that gets and tourists come across the bridge with in a more efficient manner. So that's number important. Number two, in the budget bill, they just approved the amendments to allow us to have what they call public-private partnerships. And it's kind of a misnomer if you look at it. It's really public and public. It's where the cities, the owners of the bridge, can participate with the federal government and fund things that are not in the normal budget. And so where the city of McAllen, in this instance, has state money to build 2 additional lanes for the northbound traffic, southbound facilities for the bridge, and we actually get to use that in cooperation with the federal government, build the facilities for the federal government. So that's really important. The other part of that is you can actually contract with the federal government. Say, for instance, I always thought Santa Semana, that's a very big tourist day, shopping day for McAllen. It's a great holiday for the Mexican residents. So I talked to somebody the other day, said, we jump in our car, 2 hours in McAllen, we're all excited to go, and then we have to wait for 4 hours on the bridge. And so I think it's an opportunity for the city to participate and get additional services that benefit the customer and benefit the city ultimately. And so I think it's a great opportunity for us to take advantage of this new law and new process for enhancing transportation across our bridges.
And I know you all communicate a lot with Washington, and that's sort of what you're seeing here, that they all work together to fund this legislation.
Senator Cornyn wasn't here, but his representatives, Senator Cornyn carried the ball on the Senate side for us. He's very aware of border issues. He's been down here numerous times, and so it's great to have an advocate like Senator Cornyn in the Senate. And then you have Senator Cuellar, Senator Vela. All our Valley delegation on the House side is very, very aware of border issues, and so it's a good coalition of people. The group STAC, the Border Trade Alliance, our congressional and Senate delegation is all working to enhance the border. It's very important in the United States, and I don't think a lot of people realize how important it is. I always tell people you can't build a car in Detroit without what's going on in Reynosa. Reynosa is just as important to Detroit of making an automobile as any other thing on this side of the border, and so it's important that we recognize that and enhance that trade and commerce between the two countries.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor, and we'll keep you informed of the latest here at the Alcatraz International Bridge, and of course this affects the McAllen-Hidalgo Bridge.
Thanks for that, Roy. Now, the McAllen International Car Fest turned out to be a huge success again this year. The 4th annual event was held again at the McAllen Convention Center. Over 300 unique cars were on display at the convention facility and the adjacent parking lot. The show featured over 60 categories of vehicles, from classic and antique to muscle cars, hot rods, and even mini race cars.
The car culture throughout the United States, it's great, folks. It's great family fun. We've made friends not only here in Texas, but in shows in California, New Mexico, Louisiana, all over. It's just a great hobby.
Hundreds of people showed up for the 3-day event. The water tower near McHi is undergoing a facelift. Here's Roxanne Lederman with more.
Thanks, Roy, and today we are out at 23rd and Tamarack. We have a pretty exciting project here in the city of McAllen. To fill us in on that, Mr. Mark Vega. Mark, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
From the Public Utilities Office. So we see behind us water tower, and we actually have some construction underway, so talk us through it.
Yeah, well, this is a contractor that we just recently went out for bid to rehab and repaint the McAllen High School Bulldog Water Tower. It's a 1 million gallon water tower, steel water tower, and what the contractor is going to go ahead and do is sandblast the interior, sandblast the exterior, prime coat it, repaint it a real pretty solid purple color, gold letters, and we're also going to include some structural repairs, hatches, ladders, etc., stuff like that. We're also going to include a really nice fence around it. So it'll have like limestone posts with nice wrought iron type of fencing, and look really, really pretty.
So where are we at right now? We're in the very initial phases?
Yes, we're in the very beginning phases, which is the sandblasting of the interior, welding that goes on also. And so that's what the contractor, that's what you see behind me right now. And then they're going to go ahead and shroud the tank. So they'll put a giant sized curtain that's going to basically envelop the whole tank so that they can, when they do sandblast, none of that material will escape, and that'll all be confined within that shroud.
Okay, and then after that, then the actual painting starts.
Correct. Then they'll prime coat it, and then they'll paint it. And then they'll put the logo on it, which is what we're really looking forward to. So it's going to be a really nice, pretty logo with a bulldog, and it'll say McHi Bulldogs on it.
Okay, so what kind of reaction have you had? Because obviously people have to be pretty excited to have, brand new coat of paint on our water tower.
Yes, last year we did the Nolana Water Tower, which is Mustang Water Tower, and that was very, very successful project. As a matter of fact, it's the same contractor that's doing this water tower. And we had a lot of positive feedback from the community about that light blue tower with the Mustang, and so a lot of the Bulldog alum were calling and asking when they were going to do McHi. So this is, of course, that's our plan here, is to do this one this year. And then next year, the following year, we want to go do Nicky Rowe High School Water Tower on 23rd and Dove. So that's going to be a pretty nice project also. It'll be an emerald green tower, and that's going to be really pretty as well.
Is this something that we routinely do in the city of McAllen?
About every 10 years, on average, a water tower will be rehabbed and repainted. So this was long overdue. So yes, long story short, it's a maintenance, part of our maintenance program for our water towers.
Every decade or so, right. Then it gets a fresh coat of paint.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And so what's our timeline looking like? I mean, when do you think what are we aiming for completion date?
We are aiming for summer, before summer starts. So we're looking at somewhere around late May or June that this will be completely ready to go, repainted, and look really nice for the community.
Excellent. Okay, Mark, I'm going to ask you kind of a silly question because my kids asked me. We were driving by a water tower and, Mom, what's it for? I actually was stumped. I didn't know what to say. I thought it was like an emergency reserve kind of water reservoir, but what does it do?
Well, it kind of is a water reservoir, only it's not in the ground. It's up in the air. It's elevated. And don't feel bad. I didn't know what they were till I started working for the utility either. So, but it's got a couple of functions to it. One of them is a storage, which is sort of a reservoir, only it's elevated. It helps our pressure, the pressure in the system. Because it is elevated, it carries a lot of pressure with it depending on the height of the water. All of these water towers are about 150 feet from natural ground level, 150 feet to the top. So that's quite a bit of pressure. So it aids in the pressure. There's storage involved in case there's a fire nearby, or something of that in the system where you need additional water. And it also balances out our peaks and demands. The city will typically peak 2 times a day, one in the morning, one in the evening. And in those peak demands, these have storage where it's like a buffer for the system. So they will deplete during peak, and then they'll go ahead and fill back up in the off-peak hours.
So besides being really pretty for the city of McAllen, it's a pretty crucial piece of equipment.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Excellent.
And these are, of course, there's also state standards for how many gallons of elevated storage you have per connections, and so we're also keeping them in compliance with state standards for elevated water storage.
Excellent. Mr. Mark Vega, thank you so much for joining us. Lots of valuable information, and we're looking forward to maybe late May, early June to have an entire facelift here for our McHi Bulldogs. Roy, now back to you.
Nearly 100 McAllen students toured our water treatment facility. The second graders from Wilson Elementary visited the Southwest Water Plant and even took part on their own filtration experiments. Plant employees set up several stations for the kids to get a hands-on look at the way our water is filtered and to test the water quality. They use sand, a 2-liter bottle, and a coffee filter to get an idea of how it all works.
MPA believes that it's very important to teach how important our water is, how the complete process that we go through with it. And we just really think it's important for them to know, starting as a young age, why we need to take care of it, why we spend so much time cleaning it, and why is it going to affect us in the long run. So if we start young, we're able to educate them better. We're able to start leading them to a path of water conservation and water consciousness.
The Wilson students wrote down everything they observed in their water experiments, the temperature, color, and smell, and they will use the data for a scientific report in class. It's been a year since the expansion project for the Bicentennial Boulevard. Here's Roxanne Lerma once again with the story.
That's right, Roy. As you mentioned, we have somewhat of an anniversary in the city of McAllen, and to tell us more about that, our Commissioner Scott Crane. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you.
So we expanded Bicentennial Boulevard a little more than a year ago, and how have we done since then?
Well, the traffic volume has increased dramatically. If I remember correctly, it started out at about 11,000 cars a day in the southern segment between Nolana and Dove, and that traffic count is now up to about 17,000 cars a day. And what it's done A nice thing that it's done for the community is relieve traffic congestion on the parallel streets, both 10th and 23rd Street. And I believe those traffic counts are down some 19% and 12% respectively, 10th and 23rd. And then the segments further north between Dove and Trenton, the car counts taper off a little bit, but it too has been a very popular road and a nice commute for those of us that live on the north side to get down into the central McAllen to run our errands.
On a personal level, you actually driving down Bicentennial, I mean, it really is a lot easier for us.
Yeah, it is. You know, I live up on the very north end of it. There's a wonderful hike and bike trail running parallel to that Bicentennial extension on the east side of the canal. It's not quite finished, but all the paving is in, the lighting is in, the trees are in. We still need to finish out the water stations with the shade structures and benches, and that should be completed here in a short time. And over time, it's going to become a beautiful corridor as those trees mature, and it's just been what I'd like to really highlight about Bicentennial, it has minimal number of intersections. So between Trenton and Dove, you have one intersection at Lark, which is green most of the time. If you're northbound, I don't think you can catch a red. They have Lark kind of merges into it. And then from the segment from Dove to Nolana, there are no intersections. And so it's really a fast way to get from North McAllen to Central McAllen.
So this is actually in your district. What kind of feedback are you getting from residents? Are they loving it?
Yeah, they are. Particularly the mothers that are vertically integrated in these school zones between Morris Junior High on Trenton and McHi on Bicentennial. Those that are dropping off kids at both places, they can drop off at Trenton and very quickly get down to La Vista and Bicentennial.
Excellent. Okay, Commissioner Crane, thank you so much for joining us. And obviously more improvements are coming. Roy, now back to you.
Continue to follow our newscast. We'll keep you posted on the Bicentennial Expansion Project and the exciting progress of our Police Training Center. Lots of great things happening in McAllen. That wraps up another installment of McAllen Update for the City of McAllen. I'm Roy Cantu.
And I'm Roxanne Lerma. Thank you so much for joining us.